to the Four Grounding Roots. Four voices, one journey, rooted in love and guided by connection. Here we come together to explore cultural challenges, honor our differences, and uncover the beauty in unity. Join us as we dive into conversations about mindset, energy, relationships, feminine and masculine energy, inherited traumas, and so much more. Together, we'll bridge gaps, share stories, and find the common ground that connects us all.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Four Grounding Roots. Today's episode, we talk about childhood traumas, how that has impacted our adulthood, how it has imbalanced our masculine and feminine energies, and we go really deep into our personal stories and some very serious anecdotes from our life that have also given us so many traumas that we're also healing from or have healed from. We want to share with you some solutions on how to do better in this space, how to heal from this imbalance, some inner child experiences that you want to share with us. Please interact with us. If you need any more information, something that's private, we have a Gmail also, which is attached here. Please send us an email. Tell us anything else you need to learn from us, any other conversations you need us to have. Happy to interact and do the needful for you guys, because the mission on our page is to really to learn and to help and to guide. We ourselves are expanding in this journey whilst we're in this space, and it's just been so profound and healing and expansive. So it's very overwhelming for us too. And thank you so much for watching, and please enjoy the entire episode. Watch till the end. It's really beautiful. One of our most emotional episodes that we have made so far, and it comes from deep inside our hearts. So have a great time, and please do follow and subscribe. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, and see you soon.
One.
There we go.
Hello, my beautiful souls. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about healing the inner child and balancing masculine and feminine energies after childhood traumas. Understanding really what masculine and feminine energy is, because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know what this is and how we carry both of them. We carry as a being, we carry a masculine and feminine side. So really, to me, masculinity is so beautiful because it's structure, it's protection, it's safety, it's creating a space where this masculine man, if you are a man, is leading with so much protection from you and taking action, being the protector, the provider of that. And as a woman, we also lead sometimes with this as a single parent, as a single mother, and how we can balance those things and continue our feminine side as well. As growing up, like
Yeah.
my mother, she led with her masculine side, but she always forgot her feminine and she didn't know what that was. So creating that balance.
Yeah.
And as a
Yeah.
feminine, like intuition, nurturing, creativity, love, leading with love.
Healing. Healing.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So
Receiving and allowing.
yes, being able to receive and Shruti, I would love to talk to you about this because even sexual, right? Think of a man, right? A man has to be hard, and he has to be hard down there. He has to be very very strong down there. And a woman opens her legs even in our sexual form. Think of that, how that masculine and feminine come together and make intuitional love. Like
Giving and receive.
giving and receiving, it's the same type of way. So in sex, it even leads into our sex life, right? Into our relationships.
So I'll tell you a point here when you spoke about, a man and a woman's private parts. Okay.
Mm,
Now I'm going to bring a little bit of religion into this.
mm,
I'll tell you why, so you understand where the divine also plays such a huge part in the masculine and feminine coming together, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
my God is Shiva. I am crazy. And now Shiva, other than his entire form, also has an idol, which is of a shivling. Now that you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting here, wait, let me just get it quickly. 1 second, hold.
Yeah,
I'll
baby.
get it.
And this
Oof.
is
I love
important,
that
guys.
because
Yeah, go ahead, my
yeah,
Cindy.
because
So,
it all goes back to the divine, right? Yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
Shruti.
baby. So this is my shivling, which I do the puja of every Mondays. Mondays is Shiva's day. So if you see this, this is called the ling, which looks like the private part of a man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
this is
yeah.
and this looks like the female private part,
Mm-hmm.
which is, so this is the coming together of two, Shiv Shakti.
I
And
love
it's put in such a divine way, the masculine and feminine coming together. And it's just so beautiful when you read a little bit more about it, the scriptures that we have, the stories we have around it.
Mm-hmm.
It is so powerful, is why me taking up also a core of relationship and intimacy was
Mm,
also from a place where even when I was in bed with a man, I realized I there are times I'm more masculine.
Mm,
mm-hmm.
And it was and I realized that is coming because a lot of people didn't know how to play their part,
mm-hmm.
and you somewhere don't know what to do, and then you're like, okay, you know what, I'm going to take over because the man is unable
Lead.
to, or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not able to
Mm,
lead,
Can
exactly.
you can
So
really like you can learn so much just from that, Shruti, of like for me in my marriage, like, my husband takes over and I just like it's so attractive. It's so attractive for a man to do those type of things, but it is, and it's not that that man is not a man or a masculine self. Maybe he likes that. Maybe he likes the woman to kind of take that masculine
no,
role.
but Jenny, sorry to cut you off, sweetie, but this is again, a lot of men are not able to do what they're supposed to in bed also because
Mm,
of their childhood traumas. Coming
mm,
back to our subject,
I
oh,
see.
because as a
okay.
child, they have not been taught how to be
Mm,
with a woman, how to create that safe space, because it has always been a power
Safety.
imbalance that a
mm,
man is allowed to do whatever he wants to. It's
mm,
open for him, and a woman is supposed to be shy. So there are such two crazy extremes,
mm.
Chris,
I love
even
that.
in
Mm-hmm.
this space. And then and that's where the masculine and feminine gets lost.
Yeah, and also
Hmm.
the point that we mentioned
Wow.
several times, like the energy, it's not gender specific.
Oh.
And as
Mm-hmm.
far as it connects with the divine, and both roles can play beautifully in that connection, then it's really magic happens.
Mm,
This is really to connect with the divine, to embrace the energy from the other part, the karmic, let's say, legacy that is, because you also
mm,
mentioned several times about this truth. It's not only like the
Yeah.
physical connection, is all the karmic energy that is brought into that moment.
Yeah,
and
that
have
is
you
beautiful.
noticed?
Ooh, I'm curious because also in from religion and spiritual parts, we always expect to receive from the divine, but
Mm,
sometimes we've been given that power to fight. We've been given that power to slay as well. We've been given, so it's also like, we can also bring it back to masculine and feminine as well. Like sometimes you have to receive the gifts
mm,
of the universe. You have to receive, help, all the feminine aspects. But then
yeah.
also it comes a time where you need to get on the ground and you need to fight.
Mm-hmm.
It also from spiritual perspective, like you getting up and trying to pray, for example, that is you getting up and, you putting up your masculine force to fight as well. I mean, even in the, I don't know, I don't know about you guys. Maybe you might need to confirm. Even in spiritual books, the prophets or the leaders, it got to a time where they had to get their, they had to get their gang up, and sometimes, they were maybe angry, trying to slay, trying to, curse off some darkness and
Yeah.
whatnot. This is,
They
so
had to
when you,
protect, right? They had
they
to
had to
protect, they had
protect.
to fight, they had to take
Yeah,
action, and that's where that masculine self comes into play. And that leads
exactly.
me to the next thing of how this all plays in childhood traumas. How you are, as a person, as a being, able to receive love as a man or a woman, right? And allowing that flow to happen. So as a
I'll give you an example on this, Jenny. What Cindy said about the fighting part. Like when I was a child, okay, my father, he obviously he really did love me. But
Mm,
as a man, I remember he couldn't come and hug me properly, because there was, the whole idea of a touch was
mm,
like it was out of respect for me. He used to always hug me, like this, so that our chests don't meet, and this was and I didn't realize it as a child, and I was like, okay, this is normal. This is how you hug people because I have to protect my breasts, or whatever from men, and it became too superficial, eventually when I learned what a hug really means. And I was like, oh my God, okay, my dad loves me, I know that, but what is this hug from the side? And then I started fighting for it. Every time my dad used to do this, I used to pull him closer and I'm like, hug me. And then he got used to it. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and that came from his masculine, energy of protecting, a daughter, maybe teaching me
Oh,
how a man should, hug me, a random stranger, probably. I don't know. But
wow,
I'm still
Shruti.
confused about that part, why, and if you guys have any insights on this, I'd love to know.
you
I
know,
can also give some insight, and as you know, I'm studying Kabbalah, and it's
Yes.
very beautiful,
David.
David. um, and it's very enlightenment how we understand the dynamic of the game of giving and receive. Like giving, it's more masculine, and receive more
mhm,
feminine. And by principle, we all born with a more feminine energy. Like we receive the love of our parents, so we receive the grace of being born. And then along
Mm,
the way, we should our dynamics from a soul standpoint should be to give
Mm,
unconditionally. We want
mm.
to contribute, and this is also part of the action when we need really to bring the best of ourselves to others. But at the same time, we should be open to receive, like the
yes.
blessings from the Creator, as we
Mm,
used to say. But this is where the dynamics might shift when we want to take from.
mm,
Mm.
We need, but we want to take. And each time we
mhm,
are trying to take, this can generate a negative impact because we are just switching the dynamic.
mm.
We should receive naturally whatever it's coming to us, and we should give spontaneously. If we want to
Hug
take,
me. That's not natural.
you're trying to take.
yeah, and
Like, you know what? Take it from you.
That's
yeah,
like
it's like in the social media, it's quite evident, like this gameplay when we
Mm,
are trying to post something, not in the sense of the message we are trying to give, but we are trying to take their
Mm,
validation, like
mm,
accept me.
validation.
Yeah. So this is
and
like
coming
So,
taking the energy from
Chris,
others.
I do have a question. So how do you know that you are proceeding from that energy of wanting to take rather than how do you know? So like this is important so that we can know how to stop that.
Yeah.
mhm,
Because
good
by rules,
question.
from a very genuine, loving place of your heart, you want to give.
mm,
This is
mm.
your first rule. You
Mm,
just want to give.
So you're
It's
not people
natural.
pleasing,
You're
basically.
not,
You're
mm-hmm,
And
and
it's
just
you are trying
natural.
to give
out of
love.
service.
Mhm,
Yeah, you are trying to
mm,
service, you are trying to contribute for
Yeah.
a better world. And the
Yeah.
creator of the higher energy, even if you do not believe in God or a higher self of your version, will give you. It will
mm,
come from the divine.
mhm.
So
yeah.
we
It'll
receive
come
from the
very natural
divine.
to you. Yeah.
When
Exactly.
you're standing from a place of purpose, like when you know that this is the purpose and this is, this is what my higher self and this is what God has sent
Ex-
me to do. So it
Yeah.
doesn't come from a place of validation. It does not come from a place of desperation, but from a place of just like, you
yeah.
know, committing to the
Mhm,
assignment.
Each
Got
time
it.
we are coming from a
Beautiful.
place of lack, fear, or
mhm,
pain, we are
mhm,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
give.
Yeah. I love that you said the word lack because when Mike didn't hug me the way I expected him to, I was feeling a lack. And then
mhm,
I didn't know
Mm,
how to go and get it from other men, which became my childhood trauma.
mhm,
That, okay, does a hug, how important is a hug? And you realize it so much later that that touch, that
mhm,
connection. Like I have a client, I'm really sorry, my dear, I'm talking about you, I'm not going to mention your name, but he literally told me a couple of weeks ago that he hasn't been given a warm hug in 25 years.
wow.
And the one hug he got was when we met in person and I became close to him. And he's a very dear client of mine now. And before leaving, I just gave him a warm hug and I said, everything's going to be okay. He sends me a text. He's like, Shruti, I cannot believe it. I just realized I haven't been hugged in 25 years. He forgot
What it
that he
felt
hadn't been hugged. And then it started coming up for him
like.
that,
Yeah.
oh my God, I need to be touched. And now he's feeling a void, so somewhere I feel guilty that because of me, I,
No, baby,
you
but
know,
It
that's
but
just
but
unveils something
But
bigger.
going
oof,
back to childhood traumas, my love, sometimes we don't know. This is why it's so important to find self and balance
exactly.
that
Mm,
masculine and feminine, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So that you
we don't know.
triggering your client to realizing, wow, this is why I've been feeling this lack, because I
Yeah.
have not been touched. My love, that you're a healer, my Shruti. You
Yeah.
helping him and showing that client that this is, just for you being, and you being there with him.
Giving, you're
You're
giving,
giving, you're
you're
serving.
giving enlightenment and love.
Yeah,
So
which reminds
blessed.
me, there cannot be light without darkness. So
Hmm.
Oh,
that awareness of that darkness in itself, that is the first point of healing.
yeah.
So
So
that's the first step of awareness, of awakening. And then back
awareness.
to childhood traumas, my Chris, back to how this can really affect you having that lack, having that, having that space as as a child, right? Neglection, abuse, emotional invalidation, right? Now, as your father, Shruti, sometimes his parents did not teach him how to properly love
Absolutely.
They
or
don't
I
know
agree
properly
with you.
hug,
Yeah.
I agree.
because
I
they
agree.
weren't capable either. So this is part of a
Ooh.
generational curse, I call it, because it's like you
Yes.
continue to show this to each generation, but not understanding how it's affecting
Mm-hmm.
each other, not bringing awareness to this. Fear of expressing emotions, difficult trusting others, inability to set or respect boundaries, right?
Absolutely.
And these are
Absolutely.
the things that gets really imbalanced, and it affects how we show up. It affects how we
Yeah.
balance that
It
masculine.
impacts your intimacies, your partnerships at the end of it all. I realized even with
Mm-hmm.
my mom today, we have a pact. Every time we meet or every day in the morning when I used to live with her, we had a rule. We have to hug each other every day. And this started very recently, like a year ago. And
I
that's
love
when we started realizing the power of a hug. And just a hug made us so close, like because we felt safe. That hug meant
Yeah.
or
safe,
the power
protection, trust.
or the power of holding hands. Have you ever felt that? Like, if I went to hold you guys' hands right now, the power you feel
Oh my
there.
God.
it's
Yeah, the
It
in
touch, baby, the skin.
yeah.
I know. I know.
it's just so beautiful. And even back to Shuti, your dad, like, it doesn't have to necessarily, there's also something called inherited traumas,
Yeah,
right?
baby, for
Where it's
sure.
something that
Yeah,
maybe the generations before didn't,
yeah.
it's passed down. So maybe something personally hasn't happened to dad, right?
Yeah.
But there's something that you're holding on to
No,
because
maybe it has. We don't know about it. They wouldn't have even told
they
us, my love.
wouldn't have known.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of an inherited trauma. Sometimes it's something like, I feel neglect, or I feel this type of way, or I'm traumatized, but I had a great childhood. What does this
Mm-hmm.
mean? Where are the answers here? Where, not a misunderstanding, but understanding what happened in your bloodline. Then you could
Absolutely.
start realizing and triggering those things.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah,
can
like Chris
Yeah.
with her mother, right? We talk about Chris's relationship with your mom. Oh, sorry, Cindy. Sorry,
Yeah.
Cindy.
That, and
Sorry. I
that is
wanted to
where
know
I was
about that, and
going.
then I'll come to Chris on her army. But oh my
Yeah.
God, like there's so much I
Yeah.
have to know more. We've
Yeah.
discussed in
So
brief before the podcast, but we haven't spoken at all, so that we also hear it for the first time in detail. So please,
mm-hmm.
Cindy.
So with regards to childhood traumas, it all depends on how, like what Jenny said, how you balance your masculine and your feminine. Like
Mm,
initially when she said, like even as a single mother, her mother, or even other mothers who are listening to this, sometimes you carry more of the masculine traits than the feminine traits.
right.
I was raised. I got to a point in my life where I was raised by my mother alone, and I came to realize that most of the masculine traits that I gained, I got it from my mother. But these were the traits that actually made me move forward. They were the
Mm,
traits that, you know, gave me a lot of discipline. I was performing well in class because of the things that I learned from my mother. I was, like my survival
Ambitions.
skills.
Mm.
Yeah, my survival skills were like on point, but it was the good stuff that, it was the good masculinity that I got from my mother. But it also doesn't mean that the feminine parts, I didn't gain these things because, my
You
mother
are
is
all
very
feminine, Cindy. You are a goddess. We have seen that.
a goddess for real, a goddess for
Yeah.
real. Thank you. So these are the things that I learned from my mother. And, she prioritized prayer. She prioritized meditation. She prioritized taking care of herself. I mean, it's still a battle. Like we still fight over jewelry because like she takes care of herself so well. So, sometimes life can throw things at you, but, we can always be at a point where we can get to balance both. And sometimes when you're at a place where you need to carry on both, just, it's possible to carry on these things in a balanced way. That's why it's so important to balance these traits because even at some point, we were a healing point to our mother because she was open to receiving.
Mm.
She was open to receiving, she was open to asking for help, and that's from her, femininity side. So that also kept her going rather than just pretending that, everything is fine. I'm gonna get it. And most of the healing that she got was from us, even if we were so young, but we were so mature, so willing to understand. It's because she gave us that room to
That's
understand.
beautiful.
So, in terms of childhood traumas, it could have impacted us in a different way. But then now that I'm older and now that I'm seeing things and now that I'm seeing other single mothers and also the way people react, even from patients, some of the patients and the traumas and everything, this is why it's so important to be balanced. I'm not saying that I turned out perfect, but I think I turned out
None of
nearly
us are.
perfect.
Yeah.
I think I turned out nearly perfect from the work. Like we're not perfect from the work that, my mother had built. Like I'm sending so much love to my mother right now. But then also, it's also very important. Yeah, I'm a mother. I'm a mother's girl. Okay. But then it's also important. There's a part that you highlighted, Shruti and Jenny. It's also very important for us to have compassion because in as much as, the traumas that we may have, first step is being aware.
Yeah.
To be aware of, when you just recognize, oh, maybe this is a gap. It's so easy to throw a tantrum and say, yeah, it's because this and this is why I've turned out this way. But guess what? You're responsible for your life, and if we go back to aspects of healing from scientific perspective, we there's a concept of neuroplasticity where it states that the brain can rewire itself over and over.
Mm.
It does not say that your brain will be rewired by someone else. It's your own brain with your own neurons.
Right.
So this all goes back to also taking responsibilities. And I'm saying this to the people who are also listening. Say you've identified the things that have stirred your trauma. But guess what? You've got the power to change, and from like what I just mentioned, neuroplasticity, the neurons that fire together, wire together, same way that the thoughts that wire together, fire together. So
Wow.
also coming from a place of awareness and also understanding of why the events happened the way it happened, you're able to unlock and choose to do things and choose to do things differently. I'm
I want
saying this because it's also very important if we unlock the power of compassion, understanding why things happened the way it happened,
Yeah.
so that we can get that agency, you know.
and I want to add
Phew,
on to
sorry, I
that.
don't know why I
Absolutely.
talked too
No,
much.
that was
No,
Yeah.
Dr.
so
Cindy, that was
beautiful.
a doctor's perspective also in so
Yeah,
many ways,
Yes.
right?
and from my own experience.
So that was
And that was
beautiful.
so beautiful. And I have to add on to that, Cindy, because the fact that come from a place of understanding and compassion, but it also does not make it okay. Let's say you went through something very traumatic in your life. It does not make it okay for that. Like,
Yeah.
there's a line there, I've seen so much
Mm-hmm.
clients and so much people that I have that's like, oh, she didn't mean it. or she didn't,
Mm.
or
Mhm.
this person didn't mean it, or coming from a place of understanding but still knowing that this is not okay and this is
Yeah.
something that we
Yes.
can overcome together, or individually, to rebalance that masculine and feminine. I love that you said, Cindy, that it comes from a place from awareness. Taking
Yeah.
accountability is the number one step, but doesn't stop there, right, Cindy? Like, it doesn't
Mhm.
stop there. That's just
First
the
level.
beginning part of the healing journey. And that is so beautiful that mom was there for you. At the same time, like, making sure, like, so for the audience that's listening, as a parent, being a single parent, or being a single single parent, learning that suppression, what is a suppressed feminine energy, is really important, because I did this with my mother. My mother was
Yeah.
in such a masculine role, always providing, always making sure she had food on the table, all these things, right? But she was on autopilot. She was just like chugging along, and she never gave her space for herself to
Mm.
have that feminine energy. So what a suppressed feminine energy looks like is really prioritizing self-care. So if you don't prioritize, nurture yourself, right? Giving your time and space to rest. Giving There was no rest for her. So this is what a suppressed feminine
Yeah.
energy looks like. Being creating, giving that space to be creative, right? Emotional healing, emotional not suppressing your emotions, like, let them come up for you. So this is
Mm.
all suppression. This is difficulties allowing yourself to support and help others, or often not even asking for help. Like, this is all suppressed feminine energy. When you don't ask for help, when you're like, no, I could do it myself. That is so suppressed, because
But that is
Yeah.
also in the masculine,
Mhm.
when they have to act all
Yeah,
macho and everything, and they're
exactly.
like, you know
Mm.
what, I can do this on my own. I
On
don't need
my
to
Speak
ask
own.
up, sis.
anybody because
That's
then
not
my
masculine.
masculinity is questioned. And that's
Yeah.
so sad
Yeah.
that they didn't
It's
have the
very
So
opportunity
sad.
sad.
to
Yeah.
ask.
And feeling
Um,
Yeah.
guilty or inadequate for, like, when trying
that
to prioritize self-care, like, so much guilt, like, no, 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 I have others to
is
take care of, I have kids to take care of, I don't have time for self-care. Like, that is a suppressed feminine energy, absolutely, because if you're able to fill your cup, you can give more to your family, you can
Much
give
more.
more
Yeah.
love.
so
Okay, so I really wanted to express what a feminine suppressed energy looks like, because I
yeah,
think that some people don't understand that,
yeah,
and having that overwhelmingness, and
yeah,
how it affects your kids and how it affects the
yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
around that you love,
Yeah,
right?
and the suppressed feminine again. I just wanted to repeat again. It's in both men and women.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
They both
Yeah.
carry it. They
So
both
as
carry
a
it.
man not asking for help, that's a suppressed feminine. Women
Exactly.
Feminine.
absolutely ask
Exactly.
for help, and they
Yeah.
should be able
Yeah.
to ask for help. But
Yeah.
we also live in a society where that's so frowned upon,
It
right?
is frowned
It
upon.
is
It's
so
getting a
frowned
little
upon.
better now.
Mm.
It's
Getting
getting
better.
a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
making sure that you, as a being, you are able to ask for help, but make sure it's to the right people, right?
Oh,
Because that can also create trauma, right?
yeah.
Like, I can't trust anybody, I'm never going to ask for help ever again because of a specific person you asked, right?
No, no, true, true,
Mm.
Or
true.
even interactions that will reinforce your lack of feminine. For instance, in men, like not being taught at the early stage, like you can hug another man, you can kiss another man.
Yeah, yeah.
If this is like
Forget
reinforced,
hugging, even saying that I love you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trauma in
Mm-hmm.
itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there are really some, I'm not saying alpha males, but they feel like I cannot hug another man, otherwise I will become
They are alpha males,
gay
but
or
that's the
something
right
else.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important, like, how to restore that balance while being in that, like, soul masculine energy, is so important, of, like, allowing space for your feminine energy to be shifted into the doing, into the being, just being,
So,
in such a small, like, and that's so powerful, because when you're such an masculine self, you just want to run, right? And I feel like society is an imbalanced masculine energy, especially in America. Everybody's running. They never give them time, space to just sit with themselves and allow
We
process.
are human beings, but we're not. being.
Yeah.
We're not
Oh,
Like,
being.
I love that.
yeah,
Mhm.
and being and
We are
being is,
human beings, but we're
But we're
not
not
beings.
being.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Presence.
yeah, presence.
Mantra today's.
Mhm. I love
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming back to this conversation about how difficult our childhood can be, especially for a masculine also, because of all the discipline and all the things that they have to do. I think somewhere that journey is very similar to yours, Chris, as a child, because the little bit that I know is that you were born and raised in the army world, and I still don't know much. So can you please elaborate, my love?
Yeah. So first to start, this is quite sensitive for me to speak, but I
Mhm.
will share. Um,
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thank you.
so at nine
Safe
years
space, baby. Safe
Mhm.
space.
Yeah, and as far as we can also learn and understand the journey we took, if anyone can benefit, then we should really embrace this purpose. And
Mhm.
to share that at 9 years old, I was interned into a military school. Why? Because my
Military. Yeah.
military, yes. So my
Mm,
father is also military. He has all his journey been in the Navy. And at 9 years old, I went to this intern school. What I can say, I was there until 18 years old.
Wow.
And the snapshots I had after that was like, and it was kind of my Hogwarts from Harry Potter,
Yes,
because
yes.
it was like a castle. It
Yeah.
was really beautiful. It was just girls, and this is a very important part, because I only had a normal connection with male after exiting the.
Same, honey. I was also in a girls' school till my 10th grade. So from junior KG all the way till 10th grade, which is till I was 15 years old, no interactions with boys.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, likewise, until I was 18, I guess. Or
Really?
So we
I
had.
didn't know this about us. This is so freaking awesome. Jenny's the only one who had boys
You're the only
around.
one.
Ah.
But I'll tell you some stories on the flip side of that. So
Yeah.
No, no,
continue,
I'm sure.
Chris.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, so I would say what this had impacted in my first, I had the neglected feminine energy, even if I was surrounded by girls, but we had to take care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a huge responsibility for us in terms of structure, discipline, rules. Everything was really tight, and if we do not comply with the rules, then we would be punished somehow.
Mm.
And the thing is, and this also relates with how our brain behave from childhood wounds, is that at 18, when I exit, I thought, okay, this is amazing. It was such a beautiful journey. And this was like what my brain captures.
Mm.
But then along the years after that, I started to, some feelings, hard feelings started to emerge. And I didn't understood from where these were coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that it was like, and how my therapist explained, it's like the Stockholm syndrome. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
in
Mm.
order for you to survive in a very aggressive context, your brain will like pinker color everything so
Mm-hmm.
that you can keep going and
Yes.
keep
What color? Pink or what?
like you were like a
It,
beautiful pink.
yeah, it will beautify it. It will
Everything
try.
is fine.
Oh.
Yeah, so that you can survive mentally to a very
Oh.
aggressive context.
Mm-hmm.
And not
Oh.
only by being obliged to take
Mhm.
care of other children at a very young age, this, like in my foundations of personality, like discipline, organization. That's why sometimes I'm a organizational freak. It's coming from here.
Mm.
Ah.
Mhm.
But thank you.
Mm.
Because of that, the
But thank
podcast has
you.
really helped.
Yes, it comes from so, and that's why it's important, Chris, to it wasn't all bad, right? Because you, if you could pull, this is so powerful, audience, because you guys could still pull the
Yeah,
things that you want to take away from
absolutely.
something that has
Exactly.
Yeah,
happened to you,
yeah. And this
and
was
use it
really
to your
particular.
leverage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was particularly helpful, especially in the corporate container. Was
Mm,
like a win for me to develop these skills at a very young
Mm,
age,
mm,
like to be a financial shark or really to be able to lead teams. But the side effect of that, and also to bridge with my father, at a very young age, more 13, 14, my father started to place me in certain roles that were supposed to be my mom's.
Mm.
So I
The
understood
parentified daughter that we talk about.
parentified daughter.
Mhm.
So what is
Mm.
develops like the urge for us to be able unconditionally for everyone
Mm.
around us emotionally, to be like the
Mm.
emotional support, and to
Mm.
fix the harmony at whatever cost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is and to
Been
say that,
there. Been there.
yeah, and my masculine energy was for sure increasing along my
Mm.
growth and
And your feminine was suppressed, and
so
that's where those emotions can you clarify on that, baby? So those emotions that kept coming up for you, was it your suppressed feminine self, like that feminine
yes,
energy side that you didn't understand?
it was like the urge, and the thing I recall the most was
Mm.
I feel the need to feel
Mm.
protected.
Mm.
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 And it was what was really coming for
That's
me.
your
I need
feminine.
to feel that someone is taking care of me. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
um, I
We're
recall,
holding you, baby. We're holding you, guys.
We're
Okay.
holding you here, baby. Allow
yeah,
yourself to feel your space. Allow it. Allow
uh,
it, Mama.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I recall a very vivid image of myself getting sick at 19.
Mm.
And I thought I will be alone in the hospital
Mm.
forever because I was not used to even my parents to take care of me.
Mm.
So I had to learn, and again, it was the masculine. I need to protect myself. I need to lead myself. I need to be there for myself. And I had to, and I just felt this kind of very, and it's turned into some anxiety, some
Mhm.
hypochondria. So I was
Mhm.
thinking I was sick all the time, and I had to go
Mhm.
through that as well from a therapeutical standpoint. But to
Mhm.
say that I had really to take care of my feminine,
Mhm.
and it's still something I'm struggling till today, like,
Mhm.
and to be mindful that we need female and male energy. So
Mhm.
to not just shut down, and you are my girls, but we need male energy
We
to really
do.
Yeah.
feel this
We do.
balance from an
And my love,
emotional and energetical standpoint.
my Chris, you have come so far, my love, in expressing this to our listeners. Be very mindful of how far you have come when you're going through something, guys, because is as
Yeah.
much as we have, we've struggled through something or been through so much pain, remind yourself, my Chris, you remind me of how far you have come, and you're going to make me very emotional because we forget sometimes how far we have fought, how far we have come, how much
Yeah.
work we've put in, that we don't remind you. I'm feeling your emotions, Chris. That's I'm an
We're holding
empath,
you. We're
guys.
Yeah,
holding
me
you,
too.
I'm
I'm
baby.
feeling your
actually
emotions.
I'm actually feeling so emotional like when you say that we need the masculine because it's also a gap that I have felt in my life.
Mhm.
Yeah, in as much as we have held it down, we're good. Deep down, I feel that hole sometimes. And it's got me so far to even just understand that why am I so controlling? Why can I even bloody date?
Mhm.
It's sad. I'm not
Mhm.
laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing, girls. I'm sad.
No, baby. That's a trauma
That's a
reaction.
trauma
Please
It's a
know
reaction.
trauma
that.
reaction.
It is. It's a
Exactly
Yeah.
what
trauma
we're talking
reaction.
about. Exactly what we're talking about.
I'll
Oh
tell you
boy.
guys an incident, and it's so similar to what Chris said, and but it's a very generic one because there's no one episode that makes me relate to that. My family, when Chris talks about being the parentified daughter, I was that at my house, and what that meant in the emotional sense was that I was the one child in the house who was used in the
Mhm.
sense to be the most emotional one. My
Mhm.
brothers,
Ooh.
my mom, my aunt, everybody used to send me to get emotional and talk to my dad and my uncle
Mhm.
because it was a patriarchal home. And in that race or in that game where I had to sort everybody's problems in the house, I became the emotional one person. And
Mhm.
then the irony was that in the end, everybody used to be like, dude, why are you so emotional?
Mhm.
What is wrong with you? Why are you
That's
so emotional? I'm like,
that's
guys,
emotional. Yeah.
I didn't do it on purpose. It came from a place
You're
where I
creating
was
it.
put in that position because if I
Mhm.
hadn't been that, you guys wouldn't have survived probably, or there would have been chaos in the house where
Mhm.
I was used to stop that chaos by being the emotional person that I am and sorting everybody's shit. So, God, it's hard, and yeah, it's a very emotional place, and it hurts like
Yeah,
hell.
Yeah, and I was
absolutely.
even trying to go through these kind of childhood. If I was not assuming as trauma because my brain was like with the pink glasses, and my
Hmm.
therapist mentioned, then can you recall this specific event that you mentioned? I recalled like the day, but when I was trying to deep dive, it was like a blank. There
It
were a
happens
lot
from
of
trauma.
blanks. Yeah,
So our bodies, our minds, like a lot of people don't remember their childhood because there's trauma there. Was
Maybe
I
that's defense mechanism,
It's a
no? Which
defense.
Yeah,
everybody
It
uses.
absolutely
And
is.
you
It
yeah,
have to
absolutely
use
is.
that defense
You have
mechanism to
to use it.
survive.
But
to
what happens
survive.
is
It
you
gets
take that to
stored.
your it gets stored into your
Gets
body, right, Dr. Cindy? It gets stored in your
It
body, it
does.
gets stored in your nervous system, and then all of a sudden you have anxiety your whole life because you're that is suppressed
or
so
or
much.
you're laughing like
Oh, you're
Cindy.
laughing as a as a trauma mechanism, okay? So
Oh,
that
Oh,
is a
that's so
trauma
bad.
we
response.
love
That's a
you.
trauma
Yeah.
that you don't remember,
yeah.
you can't recall what really truly happened there.
Yeah, but
So,
even the brain was
Now
saying, "No,
I'm laughing on my emotional episode.
yeah,
yeah.
What a fool.
yeah."
Mhm.
Even if I was preaching all the time, like, no, it was a beautiful day, but what was that day about?
Cindy.
Can you tell me? And it
Yeah.
was a blank. So it's really
Yes.
but another thing, and back to what Jenny was saying, and I guess Kabbalah also bring me this light, which is for whatever reason I have gone through that,
Mhm.
even if it was hurtful, but it built
Mhm.
some foundation, beautiful foundations,
Mhm.
until led me to
Mm.
a corporate world with
It
plenty
led
of
you there, boo
amazing.
boo.
Yeah, so that's why
Mhm.
I really embrace my past,
Mm.
um,
Embrace
Of
it.
Yeah.
course.
and
And
I'm
when
really
you
glad.
can
Yeah.
surrender
That
that,
journey.
yeah, when you can surrender that, when you could accept what
Yeah,
happened to you and then use that as fuel to be more powerful, that's when you become
Yeah.
the most powerful.
Absolutely. And this
That's
is exactly
when
what
you
me
can
and
just
Hmm.
Chris were talking about, I think a week ago. And we were talking about how we thank the universe in so many
mm,
ways for all the shit that we got. We
mhm,
wouldn't be in
Yeah.
this place. We wouldn't have learned how to, balance our masculine and feminine. We're still learning, but we're doing so much better than, like me wearing this is a big deal, girl. You didn't know me a year ago.
You need to
I'm
send
someone
some,
who
yeah.
didn't wear earrings or just studs, and I wasn't into colors and frills, and I'm getting my feminine back,
I
man. Like,
love
yeah,
that.
all these
Come
holistic
Yes.
on, girl.
yeah,
Yes, boo
yeah.
boo.
Look at this. I'm serious. If you ever get to meet my family, which I know you will very soon, they'll tell you I was such a tomboy because there was so much masculine in
Mm,
me.
What a
There was a
waste
time.
of beauty.
Yeah, there was a time my uncle, he literally said that if you grow your hair or, if
Mm.
you have these bangs here, when you're sleeping, I'm going to chop your hair off in the night. I have traumas,
oh
bro. I'm
my
not
gosh.
joking. See, I'm
Oh,
laughing.
see, trauma, yeah. There you go.
Learn.
Learn,
Yeah.
guys.
You know,
Learn from us.
I really love
Learn
the
from us.
part that it's all these things that make us who we are, and all these experiences, they are part of our dharma. I really love that word. I just learned it recently
I love it.
from Nita. Yeah. They're part of our purpose because
Yeah.
we have to come up as lights. We have to come, our wisdom has to come up. And without all these experiences, then it's impossible for us to show our light and show our wisdom. And this is why this topic is very important to us, and we thought it would be so important to speak about because it also shows that we wanted to highlight our weaknesses and also highlight our strengths and
Mm,
show that we can rise forward. And it's also very important to understand these things.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
also
love
very
also,
that.
important to be aware of them.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, from that standpoint.
One
And
You know,
point that we can frequently, and it's very easy. The easiest part is to become a victim of
mm,
your childhood,
Yeah.
of your past.
oh,
mhm,
And if
I
you
love
just,
that.
yeah, if you just, okay, take whatever you had in your past, see the advantages, how it
Mm,
builds on you and the person you are today, then there is no other plan B. Just do not get
mhm.
stuck and drag everyone around you to be the victim. Just
Yeah.
rise above.
You
Yeah.
can ask yourself why. People ask themselves the wrong question. Why? Why did this happen to me? Why am I so
Why
traumatized?
ask?
No, come from a
Yeah.
place of how can I learn from this?
Or
How can
what
I
did I
use
learn?
this? Or what did I
Or
learn? Or
what did
how
I
can I use
learn?
this to grow and be the highest version of self? Those are
So
the
true.
things to ask.
Yeah.
And how you restore your feminine energy. Guy,
Yeah.
like my loves, if you are a single parent, light a candle during meals and give yourself a romantic dinner
Oh,
and yes, light a
Always
candle.
in our
And
conversation.
while you're doing chores, take deep breaths during these things.
Yeah.
That's definitely those little small things make such a big impact. And if you have children, teach your children to help you, to support you in a healthy way. Teach them, this is part of homeschool. I homeschool my kids. Hey, why do we clean our room? We clean our room to have a clear mind, to know what we have, to
yeah.
tell them why you're wanting them or needing them to do something. Make them come from a place of understanding, but also
Yeah.
be mindful that they are not a father figure, right? That they're not a parent figure, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your responsibility as a parent. So having that balance, communicating with your kids, learning to say no to unnecessary obligations, so setting boundaries,
Wanting to
right?
say no.
Just say reclaiming that energy.
Yeah.
And it's so important for that, because and that's going to help you reconnect to that feminine through those, and having a support system, a community, right?
Yeah.
Having other single parents, other single mothers, trusted friends where you can start sharing your struggles and maybe learn from each other. This is what we're doing here,
Yeah.
right?
And we
We
can
have
Yeah.
our
also
support
do
system.
we can also do a very simple some rituals of our inner child, like to
Hmm.
carry a
Yeah.
photo of yours. And I have always my little Chris. She's always with me.
Oh,
So
Caillou.
cute.
So, and I'm always grateful for her, for everything she brought me. And
Mm.
Yeah.
it's a
Inner
way of,
child healing is so important. We've all done these.
Hmm.
And so much has come up for us
yeah,
during that
Yeah.
meditations and everything where,
verbalize
Absolutely.
really to your inner child that you're protecting, but you're also giving love.
so
And
true.
that it was a journey
I
together,
love
and
that.
to really embrace our inner child in all forms, the bad ones and the good ones.
Mhm.
Yes, I
Love
love
it.
that. And knowing that self-love is not selfish. It's that's so important, because
Yeah.
growing up I thought it was selfish, like no, 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 but you have to fill your own cup to be able to provide. How can you give something you don't have? How can you give love if you don't have it for self?
Yeah.
So making sure, creating a ritual practice for yourself, that maybe make it like you make your doctor's appointment for your kids, right? Make it that serious, that important, taking time for self. Okay, on Tuesdays I'm going to paint
Check
Tuesday
up.
night.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays or Saturdays, I'm going to, sit with myself and meditate. And come from a place, my audience, come from a place of, because I've heard this too, and I'm pretty sure you guys have as well. Oh, I've already tried meditation, it doesn't work. Oh, I've already tried this, it doesn't work. Were you in a mental space to receive what you need to be receiving? Because maybe at that time you weren't
Oh,
able to receive the message.
I think you
This
should
is,
repeat that slower.
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
Yeah, for
are
people in the
you in a
back.
And
space?
yeah, once more. Wait.
Are you in a space to be able to receive the message? Because this is so important. Maybe at that time when you started to meditate, you weren't in the mental capacity, the spiritual, the connection to receive the message. But maybe this time, because you worked with someone and you've been working on yourself consistently, you're able to now understand and receive the message, receive the shift in your life.
My
There's
God. I'll
never
give you
a
an
moment.
example of this, Jenny, from today. Today's example. Okay, girls, you have to hear this. So I tried to do yoga pre-pandemic, okay? I think in 2018, 2019. And I used to
Mhm.
go to the gym at the time, and I couldn't resonate with yoga because I think I hadn't, because yoga again comes from a lot of, you have to
Your
be
masculine was,
centered.
you're like, I gotta work out.
Exactly. You have to center yourself, and I just couldn't do it. And I must have taken at least 8, 10 classes. And yesterday I was at my mom's and we were talking about yoga and how she does yoga every day morning. And I was like, suddenly there was a shift and I was like, okay, now I think I can do it. I think,
Mhm.
now I feel the shift where I can do what I couldn't do before. Like people can't meditate, right? And maybe they can today. Yoga is also a form of meditation, which I couldn't
Of
do before.
course.
And
Yeah.
it came to me yesterday that I need to come back to yoga. I need to do it
Mhm.
again because now I think I'm ready,
Mhm.
mentally
Yeah.
You're
and
ready to
spiritually.
receive what you need to be receiving. And
So true.
what's even so amazing about that, my Shruti, is that you are aware of it. Being aware that, hey, let me try this again because I feel like I'm in a different space now. That I'm
Yeah,
able
baby.
to try this again. And you kept trying it. You kept
Yeah,
not
yeah,
giving up to saying, I know. So that's allowing you to be your feminine self because yoga is
absolutely.
very nurturing and hips and it's
Yeah.
super, you know.
It
Yeah,
helped me a lot in healing when I was sick.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
coming from a place
yoga
of,
is.
it's beautiful. It's coming from a place of what you say, Cindy,
I've been
of not
waiting.
just knowing but understanding what yoga is doing for you when you're doing it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
No,
And
absolutely,
Understanding. Understanding
absolutely.
unlocks.
yeah,
Understanding unlocks things. Yeah.
and
You know,
having
on the
the, go ahead, baby.
no, on the masculine and feminine bit which we were talking about, I have something to say on a lighter note. Okay, so me and Cindy were having a conversations 2 days ago about something related to cars, and I remember this time when my dad told me that even if you're a woman, it doesn't matter. You should learn how to at least change a tire and take care of your car and get it serviced on time, etc., etc. And I used to do it with
Yeah.
a heavy heart that okay, but I learned it, and it actually also came a fuse one day. I was genuinely alone in the middle of a road, and my tire was flat, and I
Wow.
replaced the whole tire on my own. So that was I was really proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
But would I want a man to be there to do it for me? Hell yeah.
Heck yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that's when
Yes.
the
Absolutely.
feminine seeks the masculine to do these chores.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm happy to learn it. I hope I don't have to apply it.
Yeah. The
Yes.
survival mode. It's so
Remember,
powerful.
Cindy,
Yes.
you were talking about it.
Yeah, I was talking. Yeah, I cried because like my car needed help and I didn't want to. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it
Yes.
alone.
Even if you do
It
it
was
all
so
pissed off, you're
painful.
still doing it, right? Even if
Yeah.
you're doing it crying. But
Yeah.
those are tools, right? That you could have, you know? Those are
Yeah.
tools to
Yeah.
know
So
that
it's
you
good to
can
learn
do
also.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For us, both sides learn everything and be ready
Mhm.
for it in emergencies. But do you want to
Yeah.
be the masculine as a feminine in the human body? No, I don't
Mhm.
want to be more of that. I want to be more of the feminine, and carry that with
Mhm.
me in a bit. And similarly, I request that also from the masculine,
Yeah.
that it's good to have the feminine traits also and apply it when needed. You don't have to be all feminine all the time. Nobody's asking you to be that,
And the
right?
thing
Yeah.
is, as a feminine and masculine, this kind of came up for me now, Shruti, when you said that. Like, I
Mhm.
actually, I want to be both because in
Yeah.
business, I want to be that masculine self and take action and provide for
Amazing.
myself. But then in my
Absolutely.
feminine, I just want to be the being. I want to be the nurturing, the loving, coming from a place of very calm, very peace. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Or maybe even in business, you want to be in your feminine as well.
or
You
vice
want things
versa.
to come.
So it
You
will
want to
come
apply
out.
your intuition,
Here I learned one thing at a very young age, and this my grandmother had told me. She said, Shruti, if you think men are going to work and providing for us and handling money and learning about business, do you know how
Mm-mm.
hard it is to run a house on a budget? The
Mm,
skill it takes to run a house on a
Yeah.
budget is also something that is, very similar to what a man does in his business. you know
Yeah.
um
Yeah. Yeah.
there's so many chores you have to manage, the finances around it and
Oh,
everything. It
But
was very interesting what she said,
yeah.
because we used to
yeah.
always think, sorry, yeah, yeah, Chris.
There is also a point besides that indeed we have some transversal skills that the feminine energy and masculine energy can cross different contexts and containers. But also I think we should be mindful of areas because of how the brain acts, and this is gender specific. It's the male, even if the male body has more or should have more male energy, they have different behaviors in terms of like the woman can be in several areas at the same time, managing things at the same time, and sometimes we cannot just get the remote to work for the TV,
Yeah.
because there are four remotes that need to be plugged in different areas to make the TV work. And
Hmm.
for them, it's like it's instinct, it's easy. And for us, we are
Mm.
like the four remotes in our hands, and we do not understand exactly. So just to say that sometimes we need also to be mindful on the strengths of each
Absolutely.
gender.
Absolutely.
That it's again, it's not
Yeah.
energy specific, but it's natural
Hmm.
that a man has more male energy, and there the way the brain behaves, it will help us navigate differently. So don't we should
Yes.
also accept
I,
help in the different
absolutely.
areas, yeah, and we
Absolutely. And I
embrace
think
this diversity.
coming from a place, and I think this is going to be in a next episode or very near future episode of what
Yeah.
it looks like in a relationship to have masculine and feminine energy on both sides, and what that looks like as a partnership, right?
Yeah.
Because I believe that it's people don't understand what that looks like, or they never even were shown what that looks like. They were never even, so like my husband's parents, they're together still, they're still, but they have a very imbalanced masculine and feminine energy, right? And they don't know what that looks like, because they were never taught, so what that
Yeah.
looks like. And for me, my mother has always been a single parent. She doesn't know
Mm.
what that looks like. She doesn't know what it looks like to be healthy, right, as a
Mm.
role, as a partnership, right? So I think in our future, what do you think, girls? Should we talk
No,
about my
absolutely.
audience?
Yeah.
Babe, we are
Yeah.
all four of us have also been through this in our own relationship space where
Exactly.
we've made mistakes and how because we
Yeah.
didn't understand so
Hmm.
many things. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and my
Yeah.
audience,
And it's
Owning up to
no,
our shit.
yeah, let us know if this is a topic that you guys want to deep dive in, because
yeah.
it's super
Yeah.
important. And back to just celebrating of how to restore this. So let's recap here. How do
Yeah,
we restore our masculine and feminine energy? What are the things to do? And for like all of these things that we talked about, right? It's all in the small stuff, guys. It's never going to be in this big dramatic change. It's going to truly be in the
yeah,
small behaviors you do
Yeah.
daily, in your daily practices, in your daily life, that's going to impact, and you're going to see that big mountain, right? So let's focus on the one step and celebrating your wins, celebrating, like I don't care if today the win was that you didn't get throw up on your shirt from your kid. That's a win. You didn't, you know what I mean? Or that you didn't curse someone out driving, like that's a win.
Yeah,
So, like
and the miracle happens every day.
yeah.
yes. So
Yeah. Every
coming
day
from a
has its own blessing.
absolutely, and
Yeah, me
understand
wearing these earrings is a small win. I'm not joking. It
exactly.
really is.
That's a win. But the thing is though, people downs like they belittle these wins, but that's a win.
Yeah.
If that is
Yeah.
powerful to you and fueling your beast, fueling the right one, fueling you,
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah,
what that is for
feeling
you.
your
No one can take that
energy.
away. No one can
Totally.
take that away from you. So I think, and girls, please add on to this. To me, your daily practice, creating a ritual, a practice for yourself,
Yeah,
making it
yeah,
like an appointment, like a priority, like a requirement, daily or weekly,
yeah,
and having a space of creativity, having a space of what comes up for you. I asked this not only
yeah.
to my
Yeah.
partner but to myself. What came up for you today, Jenny? I feel very insecure today. Well, Jenny, you're beautiful, honey.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. What are you saying? This is the time where you take a calm moment with self and understanding what programs are running back there that are not serving you, so that you're able to let it go and
Yeah,
surrender to God, creator, whatever you believe in. This
yeah,
is the power that you guys hold. You have that control within you. So creating that space, meditating, yoga, whatever resonates with you. I
yeah,
meditate very different than Shruti meditates.
yeah,
My meditation practice is so different than Shruti and Cindy and Chris, but it works for me, right?
yeah.
And we could still learn from each other, and I could add things here and there.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
it's your
going
own
through that
formula.
process, it's
Yeah,
your own formula at the end of the day.
yeah.
There's a base, a foundation that we want you to create first. And those are the habits, the practices, like going to the gym or working out at home, whatever
Taking
resonates
daily
with
shower.
you.
It's like
Yes,
cleaning your soul. Take a
your
daily
aura,
shower. You do it.
clean
So
your
do the
aura.
same for your soul.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There are
Yeah.
also times you can just sit and reflect on your day from before,
Mhm.
and know the three things that happen. Think about it. Just it takes 10 minutes. And I
Mhm.
actually do that in the mornings when I wake up. I
Mhm.
think about the three things that happened because that impacts my mood today. And then
Mhm.
I quickly
Yeah.
I'll go and organize it. Okay, this happened. Okay, now what did I learn from this? What
Mhm.
happened here? What happened here? It gives me a discipline to start my day because the day before will immediately impact your next day. Right?
Absolutely.
So
And
Yeah.
don't be so
so
hard on yourself. If
these
you were not
practices,
able,
yeah.
yeah, if you weren't able to do it in the morning because something came up, because
Oh
life
yeah,
happens,
absolutely.
give
Of
yourself
course.
some
Yeah.
grace. But maybe do it for lunchtime or maybe the night, the night of, whatever it is, whatever you need to do to adapt. Because I had clients like that. Oh, they're so hard on themselves, but that's okay. Give yourself grace. Life
Mhm.
happens, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Create
so
for
true.
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Like
We've all come
people might
so
be
far.
so curious why we're talking about this thing while addressing childhood traumas and stuff.
Mm,
There's a very important part, Jenny, sorry, I didn't have space to expand on it, but you also talked about diseases and that, the way we store these things, and it
mhm,
happens from childhood. It could not be childhood, but it could be from our daily practices. This is why doing these things with so much consistency and so much grace is what brings healing. Like for example, a lot of diseases happen because of imbalances of hormones and whatever, and chemicals that get disrupted in our bodies because we don't get time to be balanced. That
mhm,
our sympathetic nervous system, acts in an overdrive. But there's
mhm,
also the
Mhm.
parasympathetic, where which gets activated from breathing exercise, from meditation. So the sympathetic is the one that drives your body in fight and flight, and the parasympathetic is the one that balances it out. And there
mhm,
are acts and there's things to do that actually balances it out. And research has shown that
mhm,
because of these imbalances, it's what leads to different sets of crazy
Diseases.
diseases,
mhm.
autoimmune diseases, cardiovascular diseases. These are stress-induced diseases because of the stress of
Cholesterol,
chemical
diabetes,
imbalances in
these
our
are all,
bodies. So, all the stuff that we're talking about here, they are so, so paramount, and I can swear by them. Like, it's been my main cry, like every day, even when I get to see patients. And
Mhm,
you just look at them and deep down, you see it's from how we make our lifestyle choices.
mhm.
It's
Wow.
from how, it's from how we make our lifestyle choices. So I'm bringing this forward so that we can step into our own identity. We can step into our own power by taking up these things that we're talking
Taking
about,
control. Yeah.
taking control, doing a lot of activities that also boost your parasympathetic. The
Yes.
which will
yoga
also come with
exercise, the
discipline.
breathing, it comes with discipline because discipline and consistency is what makes your brain fire
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the
these
power of
thoughts. And
self.
it's what gets your brain to replace
The
the
trauma.
trauma firing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come out overnight. But this is how people heal, and this is how people heal from other, mad chronic diseases, including cancers,
The
you
simplest
know?
way that I feel like we can put that, babe, to Dr. Cindy is so the more you know about yourself, we are all here because we were curious on
Yeah.
knowing more about ourselves and our issues and how to heal them. When you come from a place of I want to know more, come from a place of curiosity, I want to know more about myself. I want to know what I like, what I don't like. You have to try it all. There's things you got to try, and again back to receiving
Yeah.
message, receiving when in those moments you're supposed to get it. So this is coming from a place of understanding self, understanding yourself. When you start knowing that, that's when the awareness, like Dr. Cindy was saying, awareness starts to happen. Then
Hmm.
accountability starts to happen. And then healing starts to happen in all
yeah,
levels, body, mind, spirit. And then you're going to start
Yeah.
seeing that ripple effect of your finances, your friends, just so much things, but it takes time. This is not going to happen overnight. And I think we have to express this, guys, because people think that they want the instant results. There's a lot of things that we have to come up
No.
to
Yeah.
surface. There's
Yeah, and
like,
childhood trauma cannot be handled instantly with
no,
no.
like Shruti,
That
you're
is the
saying it.
one.
The continuous
He
Yeah.
flow.
didn't even know he had this trigger, this trauma
Oh,
from he didn't even know
he didn't even know.
until he's working with you and able to, you know what I mean? And he's able to work with coaches and heal and
And you
therapy.
feel so blessed that you were a part of that. You were able to
Mhm.
make someone
Hmm.
experience that,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you're so grateful. My God.
Yes. Yes. So, my
Fantastic.
loves, I would love you guys to share this. If this really truly resonated with you, if this is something, I would love to hear in the comments, my loves, what came up for you when we're talking about this. There's going to be some questions
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
descriptions. What does a balanced life look like for you or feel like for you? How do you notice your energy shifting in
Mm.
stressful situations? What are ways you can nurture your inner child today?
Yeah.
And
So,
Yeah.
also raise,
Speak your truths.
yeah, raise your
Speak your
question
truths,
to us.
just like us. Be
yeah.
your vulnerable self. Safe space. We encourage. We want to know so much more because when we talk about it as four girls, who know each other, we would love to know your experiences.
And
Absolutely.
for me, I also help healing not from God, Creator, Holy Spirit, my answers, but I also have tools. Like,
Ah.
tools for me are crystals. That's a healing mechanism for me. Or finding what resonates with you. And I do this for my clients too. I recommend crystals and if this is something that resonates with you, if it doesn't, that's okay too. Find something else, my love. Okay. So you don't know things if you don't try. You got to try new things, get out of your comfort zone, get out of the bubble that you're in, because if it's not serving you, it's time to let it go, to surrender to it. Okay. And through your meditations, imagine how I imagine this happening is I meditate and I have this ball, and I all the things that I don't want, things that are in lack, or things that I don't want, I imagine myself giving this to God, giving this to Creator, and Him holding it, or Creator God holding it, and I give it to Him, and I surrender that, and I imagine that just letting it go. This is all for you. I leave it in your hands, and I take your love, your peace, your light, your balance. It's a partnership here. So when you're meditating, visualize that, babes. Okay. Anything else, my loves, you guys want to add on?
No, just
Well,
invite
I wanted to add.
some comments to send us an email because we also have the email. Feel free to share your stories,
Oh,
other items you would like for us to
Oh,
cover.
please do.
We'll be
If
more
you want to
than
keep it
yeah.
more private, absolutely. Please. We would love to hear your stories, how far you've come. I love that, my Chris. I love that.
Yeah. Also wanted to add, like when you're talking about meditation, I also wanted to add an aspect of prayer. Prayer
Mm,
is also a form of us to get in touch with,
mm.
yeah, in touch with, our higher self. So
Yeah.
prayer is also very important. It's also an aspect where we can get to protect our spirit bodies because this
Mhm.
is just a human experience, but we're also spirit beings. So whether you call it prayer, whether you call it meditation in whatever
Yeah,
form,
mantra, whatever it is that you call it.
yeah, yeah,
Ritual, whatever you call it, it's all the same. It's all going to the divine, right? It's higher being, higher self.
yeah.
yeah.
Please follow us on YouTube, my loves. Please subscribe. This is where we put all of our socials. And follow us on social media. We put some really amazing content, some teasers on there for you guys, and add some more love and support. We're here to support you. Anything else, my babes, that we want to
An
add?
No, we
amazing
will see you guys
2025,
soon.
right?
What?
An amazing 2025, a new
Oh
year.
Yes.
Damn, Happy New
Happy
Year!
Happy
New
New Year's 2025.
Year.
Guys,
Man, we're
Yeah,
so
so
caught up.
I
I
love
love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
so powerful,
2025 is
my
a
love.
year of abundance. It's a year of governance. It's a year of identity.
A
It's
year
a
of
year of
healing,
It's a year of
being
action, I think.
grounded.
And it's a
Yeah,
year
groundedness,
of action. Like
unity.
everything that you've learned in 2024 is going to come into action in 2025. I really feel that.
exactly.
I feel that
Exactly.
happening.
Manifestation.
Yeah,
This is we're all
yeah,
coming together. So connect with us, my loves. Follow us, my babes, where we're here at work. This is your community. This is your safe space, my loves. And we will talk very, very soon. Con amor, with love.